The reason that we even got introduced to this church is because of the marriage ministry. Because my wife's and my marriage was falling apart. In fact, it was pretty much over. I want to go back a little further to understand how this all came to be. I came into our marriage a broken person. The biggest issue I brought with me was not necessarily the brokenness. It was the fact that I did not know how broken I was. I thought I was doing pretty good. I truly wanted to love my wife and to be loved by her. I wanted to know my wife and to be known by her, but I was totally incapable. I did not even know myself. I had brought all of the pain and trauma from my childhood into my marriage. My father was a domineering and angry man. He demanded perfection in all that I did, absolutely everything. Yet he would not show affection or give words of affirmation. I had learned from an early age to protect my heart from abuse. I built an impenetrable box around my heart that was so well constructed that I could not even access it. Bringing that boxed heart into my marriage almost caused the death of my family. The box kept me from being able to open up to my wife. I could not share with her my hurts, my struggles, my sins, or my joys. She was not a safe person to open up to. I could not even open up to myself. Giving my wife words of affirmation felt like I was having teeth pulled. It physically hurt my body to do it because I had no practice and no way to do it. I had no way to give her the relationship that she so desperately needed and that I so desperately needed. Over the many years of our marriage, we grew further and further apart. As the rift grew between us, I became more like my father. I was desperately lonely, angry, and had almost given up completely on life. When I would get drunk, I would verbally abuse my wife and kids. My family, who I was supposed to love, cherish, and protect, were afraid of my cutting words and the angry tirades that I would have. In a final effort to fill the gaping emptiness that I felt in my life, I turned to pornography. I had nothing else. This pornography was not a sin that was just sought out. This was to fill what was so desperately lacking, and I had no tools to get.
So the first thing that I asked Clay and Mary when I reached out was, do you do divorce recovery? Thank you, Clay and Mary. God has used you to save our marriage, and we're so very grateful for you and this entire body. You guys have been there for us. So I'm going to tell you about my past because it makes sense at the very end. This is more mature content that I'm going to be as tactful as possible because I know we have kids in here. So if anybody needs to run. My first memories as a child were being tormented by demons. At age 4, I was introduced to sexuality by my neighbor. Sexual thoughts were at the forefront of my mind from a very young age, constantly being sexually targeted, almost as if the supernatural world had highlighted me to the darkness. Drowning in sexual abuse, I thought the only thing I was good for was sex. I turned my sexuality into power, becoming a siren. I realized everyone's deepest, darkest secrets were fantasies. Drawing out these hidden places and people made them subject to me. I became a stripper when I was 17 years old. Every night contemplating my death, begging the spirits that tormented me to kill me. I was pure darkness. Fast forward through years of sexual trauma, multiple rapes, and unimaginable evil. God, in a supernatural way, pierced through my darkness and told me to run away to Mazatlan, Mexico. He saved my life because I was in danger. This is where I met my husband. I thought he was going to heal me. I thought he was going to save me from my pain. He was supposed to be my Jesus. After everything I went through, he was supposed to save me. And I looked at him, save me, save me. Instead, he broke my heart into tiny pieces, and I began to despise him. I hated him. I felt completely alone, ugly, rejected, undesirable, and worthless. I became mean, spiteful, bitter, nagging. Do we have any nags in here? Okay. Of course we don't. Okay, it's just me. Okay, because my heart was hurting. I wanted something from him. I lost it when I found pornography on his phone. He was the men from my past who hurt me. He was the abuser from my past, and that's how I saw him. All these men who hurt me so much, I was like, how can you do this? And it broke me into a million pieces, and all the thing I could think in my head was, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, repeated over and over again in my head. I crumbled and I fell apart. I moved out of our home. I moved out into the woods. For those of you who know them, Larry and Rosita's. Okay, and then I started reaching out to Clay to see if he did divorce recovery. But before I even met them, I turned back to my old lifestyle. I turned back to men. That's all I ever knew to make the pain go away inside was men. That's all I ever knew. I began drinking heavily. I cheated on my husband with 2 men in 1 weekend. My heart was completely broken. So I smelled like another man. And I was sitting in my car. I'd gone in my house. I threw up everywhere, and I'm sitting in my car. And my husband keeps calling me over and over and over again in this hour that I was like, I'm going to take myself out of this world. I can't do this. And he kept calling me and calling me and calling me. And I ran away to my home, and I sat there at Larry and Rosita's, and I looked down this long driveway through my kitchen window. And I'm sitting there, and I'm bawling, and I've taken already 3 showers because I can't get the smell off of my body. And down this driveway comes this man that's walking up, and it's my husband. And I thought, he's gonna kill me. He's gonna murder me because of what I have done, because all I ever knew was his anger. And I'm seeing this man walk up to me, and it was as if the heavens had opened up and God's peace was resting on him. And I thought to myself, I have messed this up. What I had done hours ago, I will never have that man full of peace and love walking toward me. I have ruined everything. And as he walks toward me, I am weeping and I am crying and I am scared. And I open up the sliding door because he's begging me to let him in. And he rushes in and he holds me. And he takes me in his arms and he says, tell me everything, I forgive you. And I told him exactly what I had done only hours ago. And he sat there and he held me and he said, I forgive you. I forgive you. He took me and he put me on the couch. He said, tell me everything. And I confessed everything to my husband. Nothing. He did not know. And he took me back to his house and he said, I'm going to take my wife back home. And he laid me in the bed and he prayed over me and he put worship music over me. And we sat and we wept while supernatural God healed us. Well, there's my notes. But now we needed tools. So we reached back out to Clay and Mary, but not for divorce recovery this time. But we needed tools for our marriage. Now we have done a few classes, and now we have to stay in it, like AA. We have to stay in our marriage class. Okay. But Clay and Mary not only walked alongside of us through our mess of a marriage, but they identified the affliction I had as a child and the spirits that were attached to me. And for almost 3 hours, the leaders at this church and my husband cast demons out of me so that I can see more clearly. So Clay and Mary have been a whole package deal. My children, they cry when they hear our stories and they say it's a miracle. My children, Neve and Adea, they follow God now. They follow God now. Now I get to brag on my husband a little bit because one of those men I was with over the weekend, my husband, instead of going and putting a bullet through his head, decided to start praying for him. And a couple weeks later, he got saved and this man went to that man's baptism. Yeah. So when I say Clay and Mary, and when I say our leaders, and when I say my husband, what I mean is God moving in his creation to do his will through obedient children. He has saved me. He has drawn me to him. He is a good father, and he is worthy of our praise, not man, but God. I have one more thing to touch on, and I know my time is already up, But now for the people in this congregation, some of you aren't ready to give up the small affections from the opposite sex. What I mean is the girl or the guy who makes eye contact with you at the gym, the person you stalk online, the girl you flirt with at the coffee shop, that gorgeous person from work that seems too friendly. While we love to stroke our egos with small bursts of attention and write it off as innocent, it's not. That's why you feel uncomfortable right now. And you probably already thought about that person in your head. I'm not here to judge you, but what I am here to tell you is that there's nothing, and I mean nothing besides God, that is as good as building the strongest marriage on this earth for God's kingdom. You think you are getting fed from these small bursts of attention from the opposite sex, but you're not. If that's what you still want, then you know nothing of what God can do in your marriage. You don't understand the beauty that God pours into marriages that surrender completely to Him. In fact, you are missing out, I promise you. What you are doing is not friendly flirting, it's wrong. And God wants to redeem you so badly. Stop giving power to the enemy and start surrendering your marriages to the Lord. He redeems the unredeemable. He restores the unrestorable. He makes beautiful what is ugly. If you don't think God can do this in your marriage, you don't know my God. Because that is what He specializes in. He specializes in the ashes and He makes flowers out of it. He can do anything, you guys. If you're looking at your partner like, not this guy or that girl, not that girl, that's what He specializes in. That's what He does. Okay? Your job, your ministry, your hunting, your shopping, whatever it is, nothing besides God is more important than God-honoring marriage. And the things He can do with the people who surrender, you have no idea yet. Please, please, please break down those walls, surrender your pride, come to your Father. He wants to free you, free from pretending your marriage is okay when it isn't. Come see what our God can do. Come invest in your covenant.
I just want to speak to the men for a second. We are told throughout our whole life that we do not need intimacy, that we are supposed to be strong, and yes, we are supposed to be strong, but not in the way that the world has turned it. God has an intimacy for you in your marriage that you can't even believe. The whole idea of us being with God is to know Him and to be known by Him. The word coming from the Hebrew is yadah. It said, Adam yadah his wife, and she conceived and bore a son. God wants you to have that intimacy with your wife that you have wanted. And we need to fix the broken places inside so that God can bring you to the place, into the meadows and the pastures. And it is amazing. I promise you it is amazing, and it is worth going through the pain.